CALIVEGANs, and welcome into another episode of the CALIVEGAN podcast, the one and only calisthenics podcast for vegan men who want to become role model, building muscles and strength. So today is post-fight day. Like this weekend I had a kickboxing fight, and so I think it's good to talk through it now that it's fresh. Probably you guys are curious about different parts of, why I got into kickboxing, why I want to fight, how the fight went, and all these things. We'll go over them. So if you're tuning in and if you have questions, please drop the questions. I love to maintain and keep this kind of content interactive with you, and let's start with my first set. All right, so first of all, it was a 2 minutes rounds, 2 rounds of kickboxing at 79 kilograms. How did it go? Well, I've been KO'd twice, and the second time I did not stand up. I think what the main thing that I did wrong was being too aggressive. I was going after the guy, and he counteract my attacks with precision. So I don't know. The guy was supposed to be at the buttons, like without much experience in fighting, but I don't know. He either is a talent and has been training for a long time and been sparring in the gym a lot and had the right mentality to get into a fight, because he was very good. Like when I watched back the video of the fight, just as soon as I throw the hand, he's throwing his other hand and he got me. Like, it was so precise. So both of the times. But again, like, he's been very good in like finding my weakness, but I didn't slow down. So I really need to focus on having a different mentality when I step in the ring, rather than just going after him and try to throw techniques on him, which I did well actually. I throw some good kicks, tried some high kicks, did some combinations, but it was just smarter. Smarter than me. She's going to be her first driving class today, since we have a car and she needs to learn how to drive too. So yeah, first mistake has been that, like, too aggressive. I was like boom, boom, boom. I threw some good low kicks, but what I've learned 100% is in my next fight, I'm really going there to feel like I have the fight under control. Okay, I have more control on what's happening. So I'm going to focus more on defending and counter his attack, my opponent's attacks. Especially because, you know, some of you guys think that that was my first fight. This is my second fight. The only problem is that there was too much time between my first fight and my second fight. Was 1 year between the two, because I changed city, I changed gym, so yeah, I'm like, I think I kind of lost that first feeling of my first fight, and I went back to zero. Like, I had to fight that sensation of fear and anxiety of getting inside of the ring, as it was the first time, to be honest. It didn't feel like, okay, I'm more confident. Kind of felt like the same sensation, and I think it's because there was way too big of a gap before my first fight and my second fight. Now, I think in this fight, though, my technique was better than my first fight. In my first fight, I've also been knocked out twice, but I got to the end of the rounds. In this fight, I didn't even get to half of the first rounds. I was out, and so you know, I definitely don't want that to happen again. And this time, even when I train, I'm going to focus a lot on defending, covering up, and throw less combination, because where I train now, we do a lot of combinations, and I think that's good, but yeah, I just need to change my strategy. Next time I'm going to get into a ring, I'm not just going to, attack and throw combinations. I'm going to focusing more on my defense and countering the attacks, because guys, and you probably, if you are in the fighting kind of world and you listen to fighters, for most fighters, actually, of course I want to win as well, but if you fight, you don't primarily fight. You don't primarily fight to win. I think you fight to fight. You fight to fight because that's something that you want to do. And at the end of the day, just like training in the gym and developing a good physique, the competition is against yourself. And kind of the same thing is on a ring when you are against your opponent. You have your own goal in mind. And it's not only about winning the fight and, or knocking out your opponent. And for me, you know, the real fight is about me breaking that fear of fighting, first of all, which I think I already managed to break and build up a tougher skin, right? The only fact that you train for kickboxing, you learn how to attack, you train. When you train, you also spar, so you have fighting with your partners. You know, that already allows you to build a tougher skin. Like, this is interesting for you, for example, right? So do I think that every man or women as well who wants to feel more secure when it comes to physical content should do some kind of martial arts? I think yes, like, it's a gym, a kickboxing gym, a martial arts gym is going to be a very safe environment where you can develop more confidence and break this fear of physical contact and be ready if perhaps that happens. Now, should you get into a ring and fight? Well, that's a whole different world. But for me, you probably shouldn't. At the end of the day, there is a risk there, and I think it's really, you know, it's really getting into a fight at that point, okay? And you probably, you know, there is a high chance that you're not going to need to actually fight in your life. We do live in a fairly safe world, especially here in Europe, I would say. But yeah, no, for me, I wanted to step forward. I wanted to put myself into a fight because I was bullied as a kid a couple of times, and you know, that already break and kind of destroyed a little bit of my confidence and made me feel insecure. And then as I grew up, I was a bit older, maybe 12, 14 years old. You know, I've always been picked up and I've been beaten a couple of times. And I remember, you know, I really didn't feel that confidence to actually do anything against these people because there was this trauma. And so putting myself into the ring allowed me to fight my bully back. I think that's kind of what I do when I decide to stepping in the ring. And so going back to what's my end goal, what does it mean for me to win? As of right now, it means not feeling abused, because like in both this fight and my first fight, I literally felt abused. I mean, if you get knocked out, obviously if you're an experienced fighter, it's different. But for me, both of my first fight, I've been knocked out. It's like I don't feel like I have these on my hands. I feel like when I was younger, you know, when I was bullied, still kind of feel the same way. So I want to be able to get into a ring and control, being confident, okay? Move through the fight without being completely thrown around. Like I don't, how do you say? I don't belong there. Woohoo! And we're going for the fifth one. So absolutely, that's the reason number one. And my girlfriend mentioned more than one time when it comes to fighting, my first fight, my second fight, in general, commenting around the fact that I want to fight, that I'm into martial arts. She always comments that I am not like most of these people, you know, like I'm fundamentally a good person. I'm against violence. I'm not aggressive or arrogant. I'm always kind of respectful, right? So she said, like, I don't belong there. But that's exactly the point. Just curious to know if someone like, who won? So the other guy won, yeah. The other guy won the fight. I've been knocked out twice in the first round. Well, very quick. That was quick, man. Okay, and that's why, you know, I think that the guy was more than he said he was. Like, it was his first fight, but there was something behind his experience that I think he was hiding. Hey, Murmaran, like, for the ones that are live, can you just confirm you can hear my voice? And so yeah, I would say my girlfriend is always commenting on the fact that perhaps I'm not made to fight, like I'm not violent. But that's the point. That's the point. I told my girlfriend, I made her this example that if this guy that I was fighting was actually attacking us, perhaps in the street, well, in this case, I wouldn't have been able to protect her. Right? So it doesn't matter if I am not that kind of person that is violent or aggressive, but I need to, that's my goal. That's one of the reasons why I got into fight, because I know the world is a violent place and there is a lot of arrogant and violent people, more selfish, that would harm others to benefit themselves. And that's why I put myself in the ring, in that violent world, as a good person, so I can face these guys. Maybe it's not my nature, for sure it's not my nature, but I can develop the skills that will allow me to face these people and you know, and fight them back, so I can protect my girlfriend and the ones that I love. Not that is likely to happen, but you know. a bit late, but you know, guys, really thanks a lot for all the support that you gave me for the fight. You know, all the comments, they were all positive. So many came to watch live, I think, as well. So thank you. And since I'm thanking you, I also wanted to mention that, yes, you know, what motivated me to get into the ring is definitely also the journey that I have for the vegan community as a whole, and representing veganism, showing that vegans, you know, can do everything, even though it's not that necessary to show. I mean, it shouldn't be super necessary, but people want proof. People get inspired from people that are above them. So being a role model for the vegan movement is definitely part of the motivation why I continue with pride and consistency and discipline in kickboxing and calisthenics as well. But I did wanted to make a point that is not primarily probably because of this. I wouldn't have, so if it wasn't because of my past with bullying and, you know, this lack of confidence and insecurities, I don't think I would have gotten into martial arts 100%. So yeah. Brain damage. There was someone in the comments, you know, most of the actually all the comments were positive apart this one. There's like, the guy was like, I'm going to keep it real, man. If you keep going like this, you're going to get brain damage. You know, like, why you're hurting yourself. But I think it's you know, it comes down to how you want to live your life. Some people have goals. Some people want to feel in a certain way, and I want to live pursuing my goals and you know, becoming a tougher person, overcoming my insecurity, overcoming my limits. And in this case, I'm taking the risk of being injured with the combat sport. And I'm fine with it. And don't get me wrong, you know, there's many times when you, and I guess this happens to everyone that fights, when you're scared about being hurt, you're scared about brain damage, you're scared about any other kind of, you know, risks relating to fighting. And personally, the best way to manage this fear, well, first of all, is I think about the fact that I want to do it. I think that comes first. And then I think of like professional fighters that have 50, 60 fights and they keep going. Yes, they're being knocked out. Yes, perhaps some of them have injuries that are going to stay with them forever. But at the end of the day, they're fine. They're fine, really. And they have experienced a lot of fights, which is amazing. They have become real warriors. And, you know, I don't know if I'll get to that level, but I want to be a warrior, ready to fight. Now, don't get me wrong. I know fighting in a safe environment is different than, you know, protecting yourself on the street, and you should always trying to avoid fights. That's for sure. And I will continue trying to avoid fights. It's about being ready. It's just about being ready. And another reason why I fight is because I also, you know, my personality, kind of, you know, my addictive personality and past with drugs and my ADHD, it's kind of nature for me to you know, to have some very intense experiences and emotions in life. Like I keep looking for that constantly, and I think, you know, fighting definitely gives that to you, and is the one that I enjoy the most out of snowboarding, skateboarding, and I don't know, other sports that I have tried. You know, fighting really gives me that intense experience. Even if it's just training, sparring, you know, training, practicing at the gym, fighting, that also gives you a good amount of adrenaline. In fact, my anxiety level, guys, dropped so much after my workouts. Oi, oi, oi. But I went down. I went a lot like low in mood after the fight. Like I did have a lot of things going on, like why do I even do this? You know, do I really belong here? Because guys, 2 fights, 4 knockouts. So I would say that, you know, it hasn't been very fulfilling as an experience. My first fight, I think it was. Like I was positive after my first fight. Yes, I was upset that the guy, you know, had control over me. But at the end of the day, I was happy that I stood up both times and I kept fighting, and I survived that fight. But this time, you know, the guy completely dominated me. You know, it was just waiting for my mistake, and boom, he did it 3 times. First time, I felt it. Second time, I went down, got back up, and even the first knockout was pretty hard. I mean, I was already confused when I went down. And then the second time, boom, there was another hard hit. So absolutely dominated me. So you can imagine, guys, like, not a fulfilling experience. So my mood was pretty low, you know, but I don't know. Just later on in the day, I realized it's fine. Just get back out there, learn from your mistake, and you will be able to do better. You know, so it's just not the end. I'm just not going to give up. As I said, like my first fight is against myself. Like, I don't want to feel abused on the ring. I want to feel in control of the fight, and I want to feel like I can push through. Like, I'm not just being hammered with the opponent's attack. And you know, I'll get there. I'll build myself up. Oh, fuck. All right. Now, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to be better? So again, I think one of the things, even though kind of feels like, you know, I'm holding back a little bit, let's say, kind of being a little fearful. But one important thing I think is going to be the opponent, all right? Because both for my first fight and my second fight, I don't think they put me against a fair opponent. My first opponent had already 3 fights, and my second opponent was supposed to be at the bottom. It was supposed to be his first fight, but guys, I don't think so. And if it was, then I guess I've been unlucky, okay? But maybe he was probably doing kickboxing since he was a kid, because he is 19 years old. So, you know, it might make sense that he has been training for like 6-7 years, and now at 19 years old he was getting ready for a fight, and obviously he had much better technique than me. Perhaps he was nervous for sure if it was his first fight, but you know, he had a lot of confidence because of his technique. Like, again, guys, it was perfect. Like, if you go back and watch my fight, as soon as I throw this, he's already throwing his hook. So it's like, it's perfect timing. It's so perfect that it looks like luck, but it's not luck, because he did it 3 times in a row. So, you know, that shows high level of technique, right? So I don't think it was a fair fight. However, like, so it's going to be on me this time, my next fight, to make sure that I know something about my opponent. And, you know, if I feel like this guy has too much experience, I don't want to fight this guy, I'm not going to fight this guy. Or maybe I will. I don't know, because at the end of the day, it's also true that it's about opportunities you don't always have. There's not so many fights always going around, so you know, you got to catch the opportunity. But I don't know, you know, I'm just going to at least do an evaluation, because I for my first 2 fights I didn't look at nothing. Like, I just said yes, okay, let's fight. I trusted my coach, but yeah, they weren't necessarily on my level. I think they were above me. Alrighty. Almost there. So the second thing that I obviously need to do to do better in my next fight is, well, as an approach to the fight, is just to be less aggressive and maintain distance, wait for the other opponents. Because, you know, I realized that the reason why I was attacking so much was because I was scared of what my opponent could do, because I didn't know anything about it. So I realized now, I think, that I was so nervous because I didn't know what was coming. So I was attacking, so he couldn't attack, but he was smarter than me and just waited for my attack. Boom, boom, spam. And you know, when it comes to training and sparring sessions at the gym, I am not like that. I'm not like that. I am more patient. I'm not so aggressive at all. I wait for my partner and opponent to attack so I can counter-attack. Focus more on keeping a high guard. So that's definitely the approach that I'm going to have on my next fight. A lot more patient. I think, yeah, it's just the way it needs to go, because I don't want to be, again, like, knocked out. You know, I cannot allow it to happen again. Because if there is definitely something wrong in that approach, since it happened twice. So I really want to focus on defense, being able that I'm defending myself properly. It's not to get hit so hard, to be knocked out or knocked down, whatever it is. The other thing. And so also now when I'm going to fight in training, I am going to think more about that as well. Focusing much more on defense, and also less hits, less combinations, with fewer punches and kicks. Just being more thoughtful on what they're doing, maintaining the distance, boom, low kick from distance, you know, and wait. Especially, I think, if I throw combos, I need to fake some kicks first, you know, to confuse my opponent, because again, this opponent just read me perfectly. That's why he hit me so hard. All right, that's one thing about the technique. The other thing is I need to wait. You know, I do have a headache now, you know. I do feel my brain swelling inside of the skull, so I will have to wait like a good amount of time, I think, before my next fight. I'm definitely going to wait 3 weeks to 1 month before I go back to sparring and fighting in the gym. And I will wait at least 4 months before fighting again. That will probably be in September, October, when I'm going to fight again. I don't know exactly, but I'm definitely going to wait that amount of time. And also one more thing is weight. This is not going to be easy because I'm heavy, I'm muscular, and I'm not planning to stop with calisthenics, but I am planning to try and be as lean as possible. So not lean, I'm going to try and be shredded year round. So far we have tried lean year round. From now on, we are going to try shredded year round because I want to fight at lower weight. So obviously I'm never going to be like a lightweight, but I think even if I drop down to 75 kilograms when I fight, that's going to be a huge difference in how the fight goes. Like while I was there, I noticed it. Like the lighter guy, they hit each other multiple times in the face with good hooks, and they don't go down most of the time. So the thing is, you know, there was this guy I had a conversation with outside of the event. He made a good point. Like most fighter, this is how they go about their progression in fighting. They start lightweight, and then as they progress, they go up in weight. So this happens when you start fighting from very young age, because you're just developing your physique with fighting. But I did not develop my physique with fighting. I've developed my physique with weights, and now I'm getting into fighting, and perhaps I'm going against this guy that it really looks like he has been developing, you know, his physique through fighting rather than, you know, it's just a big guy fighting, you know. Naturally, I don't think he does a lot of gym. It doesn't look like he was super muscular. It was just a big guy. So yeah, dropping in weight is going to be another one. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to drop. I think 5 kilograms maybe, but there is not much fat to lose. So let's see, I'm going to try it anyway. Oh. It's always been, by the way, difficult for me to be like lighter and leaner than this. But I think with like my new recent approach to diet, where I focus on fruit, is going to be possible and easier for me to achieve that, maintain a lower body fat, lower weight. Like if you consider that I've been fighting at 79 kilograms this time, I started from 82, 83 kilograms. I think I can do it. Like I can fight at 75 kilograms. Like maintaining my normal weight at 78, dieting before the fight down to 75 kilograms, and I think that's how he should go. Because again, like it's just the punches are just much harder and much more dangerous when you fight heavier people, and I need to be technically more prepared for that because obviously my defense is not as good yet, my reflexes, my strategy overall. So if I drop in weight, at least if I get hit, is not 100% and knocked out, you know. Almost done with today's workout. And I think I also said everything about the fight. So if you learned something from this, let me know in the comments. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe. Again, let me know in the comments if you have any extra questions. And if you're on Instagram, like, comment, let me know what you liked from my story here about my second fight. And if you want to participate live to these podcasts and you're on YouTube, just come to my Instagram, Stefano Vegan Calisthenics. Today we didn't get much questions, I believe, because of the title of my live Q&A post-fight. I guess no one really had any questions, but usually I answer a lot of your questions and help you build muscle with calisthenics on a plant-based diet. Last set, let's go. Woohoo! Right, see you in the next one. Pew, pew.